So originally I was gonna do this whole thing in one video, just do a little bit of a segment in that video, but I think this definitely deserves its own video. Hey guys, what's up? We're back and we gotta talk about the Prelude again. Now, in my first video, I had mentioned, the Prelude was pretty underwhelming, but it had really good looks, and I didn't think that was going to be the only trim of it. Like, they were going to have a hybrid and a gasoline version. Right now, I don't know if there's any talks about them making a pure gasoline version. Lately, if you guys have been following me, I have not been posting good news about Honda at all. I even posted a video of myself telling you guys I've fallen out of love without Honda. I think I said that wrong. They don't have that je ne sais quoi anymore, what they used to have back in the day, which, gave them a little bit of soul, gave them a little bit of personality. Now, I know I like to revel in the past, and, those were quite profound cars. Even if you drive them today, you would be very surprised of how different they are compared to the modern car. And I think that difference kind of makes it interesting. So the biggest elephant in the room when it comes to the Prelude, and I'm actually not surprised, many people said they were going to be selling this at 45 grand plus, which already was in Type R territory to begin with. But now I've been seeing prices for $50,000 and $60,000 American. I will put the conversion on screen for you guys, like somewhere here. That is insane, and that is probably one of the worst value propositions I've ever seen. If you thought the $42,000 Civic Si, some people probably would get that for 50, which I still wouldn't be surprised. If you thought that was bad, the Honda Prelude takes the crown. For nearly $60,000 American, you are getting a hybrid system, 200 horsepower, front wheel drive, and Type R suspension. It kind of sounds like, how should I put this? They just put some stuff together, put it all in one package, shipped it out, and be like, oh, it has these parts in it. That makes it more expensive. Ooh, boy, I think what most people are mostly upset about is the Prelude doesn't differentiate itself from the lineup. Back in the old days, the Prelude was a completely different vehicle. Although it shared a lot of switch gear, a lot of electrical stuff from the Honda parts bin, you could tell it was a unique body. It was just uniquely Prelude, pretty much. Although, if you've been in one Honda, you've been in them out pretty much. But each body style has its own differences and stuff like that. But if you're in a Honda Prelude, you're in a Honda Prelude. That's just how it was. And when you are in $60,000 territory, I'm really sorry, you're going to be competing with the Supra, the Nissan Z. I would even throw the GR86 and the Miata in there. You're competing with those cars, and you can get those cars much cheaper, and those cars are much more engaging to drive. They have much more personality. They have a little bit of flair. They have a little bit of drama to them. Even the Miata might not be the fastest out of them. Actually, it's the slowest out of all, but you can whip that thing around corners, and you can actually learn the basics of driving a rear-wheel drive. You can get a rear-wheel drive vehicle, just the bare essential sports cars, I call the Miata, for much cheaper. If the Prelude was priced just a little bit lower than the Miata, then I think it would be a little bit successful. But it's hard to say if the Prelude would be successful because coupes don't really sell all that well in the North American market. Even though you do still see them, they're mostly used cars. But for new cars, there will be sports cars, obviously, because sports cars have to be 2 doors. People will argue, oh, it has 4 doors, whatever. But the point is, people think sports car, 2 doors, that's what they think, rear-wheel drive. And if it was priced a little bit lower just than the Miata, like a cheaper front-wheel drive alternative to the Miata, I think it would be successful. But again, coupes they don't really sell all that much, and I'd be surprised if they do sell it in large numbers. But frankly, This was just pretty much the Civic hybrid powertrain put into the Prelude body style, or not body style, Prelude body, and it was sold as a new model. And this kind of rubs Honda fans the wrong way because the Prelude was its own car. It was its own body, and it had a whole new engine developed for it. That was known as the H series engine back in the day, and that was known as the Big Daddy because it had the largest displacement out of them all. And that's kind of synonymous with more mature people. They like the vibe you get from a Mercedes SL, the V8 or the V12 in some cases. And the larger engine just provides a smoothness that the smaller engines didn't have, despite it still being a 4-cylinder. It gave you more torque. You didn't have to press the gas as much. You just rolled on the torque and you were good to go. It gave you, that feeling. And that's what made the Prelude a little bit more gentleman's compared to, the Civic, the Integra. And the Prelude does deliver on that when you were talking about the body style. It is a little bit nicer than the Civic, but having the same powertrain as the Civic, I think when Honda got rid of the 2-liter in their Accord, I think that 2-liter should have been reserved for the Prelude because it would have given the Prelude the tunability, because I've seen so many people tune the Accords, to 350, 400 horsepower in some cases. I think you do have to build the motor at that point, but you guys understand what I'm saying. There was such a vast aftermarket for that car, and that's what that car kind of deserved. And I think that would have just been the perfect recipe for that car to succeed with enthusiasts. But unfortunately, the way things are going, I don't think it's going to succeed at all. And there was an article put out, I forget what the article was. I'll place it on the screen here. It was talking about in Japan, the Prelude was a major hit. It was sold out, and it was only elderly people who drive it. Now you kind of have to think, yes, it's a business, and Japan has more of an aging population. So I guess it's a no-brainer, but it's a sports car. Not many old people want a crazy sports car. So what did they do? They toned it down. They did it in a way where it wasn't too crazy. Now, to an old person, that might be fine because it's like, I got a cool, awesome looking car. I don't have to drive around this old ass, boring ass car. Look at me, I'm in this shiny car. Look, it's so easy. Perfect for them. But when it comes to enthusiasts and the nameplate and the value proposition, and one more thing I like to say before I close out this video, I still don't understand why they killed the Civic Coupe. Probably because of sales, but they should have just kept it on for one generation, let the market simmer out, and once it was completely done, like single digits, just cancel it. And I really think that they should have just kept the Coupe, and the Prelude should probably never been released. But unfortunately, I really do hope, again, and I'll say this again, like I said in my previous video, I really hope this isn't the only trim. I really hope there's a more powerful trim with a more faster engine, but we shall see. I'll see you guys in the next one.